There are certain things you must be doing as a man or it's over for you. And at the top of this hierarchy of things to do, obviously the number one thing is to get in shape, get in the best physical condition you've ever been in your entire life. Because as you know, this is going to pay dividends in every aspect of your life. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I'm not going to go over all the benefits of why you should get in shape because I've got other videos about that. So I'm just going to break it down in the quickest way possible of how to transform from zero to your goal within 1 year. I'm not going to say it's a 1 month or a 3 month process because it does take time. It takes a good solid year to build these foundations. And if it was so quick, then everyone would have the result, right? Everyone would be walking around jacked, shredded, having the confidence, the charisma, the car, the money, the girl, all these things. Everyone would have that, but it takes time. And this is why so many people give up. They give up before they get the results. And it's like that meme you might have seen. They're digging for the goal. It's the picture of that guy. He's digging and he's like this far away from hitting the goal, but he turns back around and he goes, it's too hard. This is the biggest thing you have to practice. This is delayed gratification. It's continuing to put the work in without seeing the result just yet, because it's there. I promise you it will come, because I'm living proof of this, and every single guy I've coached is living proof of this. But this is the very specific breakdown of the order of things you need to do to get your life from where you are to where you really want to be. In terms of training, I'll break it down super simple. To get the physique within a year, the easiest split to do is upper body day, lower body day, rest, upper body day, lower body day. And I'm not going to go over the exact workouts in the splits because I do have another video for that, but I'll give you a quick little example. Upper body day could be 2 sets of chest, 2 sets of back, 2 sets of shoulders, 1 set of biceps, 1 set of triceps. Boom, that's your upper body day. Lower body day could be quad extensions, leg press, hamstring curls, and walking lunges. Boom, that's your lower body day. Then you have a rest. The main areas to focus on your body to look aesthetic in clothes when you're out in public is obviously you've got traps. You see these through your shirt. You see these depending on the clothes you're wearing. Obviously shoulders too and arms. You're going to see these in t-shirts. These are going to be the most noticeable low-hanging fruit you can do to start with to see the real-world results as quick as possible. So traps, shoulders, arms, upper chest, so your clavicle muscle here. You want to train a lot of incline movements. This is going to grow the upper chest part that you're going to see when you're wearing t-shirts, when you're wearing a quarter zip like this, or a shirt with you unbutton a couple of the buttons on the shirt and you're going to see your upper chest results. Some people, legs are great to train, but most of the time you might be wearing pants when you're out. You're not going to see the results from legs, but I like to do it anyway because it practices discipline. Legs is the hardest muscle to train. Puts me into that mindset of pushing when it gets hard. And this works in my business. This works in my job. This works in my relationship. When things get hard, you continue to push more. And the biggest example or carry away from training legs in the gym is this transfers into all those other aspects and areas and facets of your life. Push when it's hard, keep going, and you get the pump, you get the feeling of accomplishment at the end, you get the endorphins rush. That applies to everything. So learn to train legs hard, not even for the aesthetic reason, but for the mental benefits. Body fat. A lot of people will start skinny, a lot of people will start fat, it doesn't matter. The main goal here is to maintain a healthy level of body fat, between 8, 10, 12%, in that range. Anywhere between 8 to 12% body fat is very healthy for you. You don't want to go super lean because it'll crush your testosterone levels. And you don't want to be overweight as well because it looks bad, it looks disgusting, you feel lazy, you don't get respected. And your testosterone is also destroyed as well because a lot of your testosterone will go to estrogen because of the excess body fat. So maintaining anywhere between 8 to 12% is the sweet spot for health, for function, for aesthetics. Now, you don't need to bulk, you don't need to cut. I've never done this. All throughout my journey, I've always maintained my abs. I've always been, around the 10, 12%. And I've built muscle from there. I don't have to bulk and eat, 4,000 or 5,000 calories to build as much muscle as possible. It's not going to matter. You don't need, bulking, it's been disproven. You don't need to eat thousands of calories over your maintenance to put on muscle. It's not going to help speed up the process. It's just going to make you lazy. It's going to make you cope with eating junk food all the time and say, hey, I'm bulking, I'm dirty bulking, it's okay, which is just a lack of discipline. It's a lack of self-respect, really. That's all it is. You can build as much muscle if you eat, a 200, even a 200 calorie surplus versus the guy who's eating a 2,000 calorie surplus. He's not going to build much more muscle, or if any more muscle than you. The only difference is he's going to have to lose all that fat to actually see the results he's got, where you are going to be able to maintain that 10, 12% body fat and see the results and see the progress in real time as you go. And seeing the results is going to keep you dedicated in the process for longer, because you're going to actually see the benefits of going to the gym, of curating and getting this aesthetic body. You can see, oh damn, I've got another bicep vein this week, or I can see my traps coming through. I can see my upper chest coming through now, my t-shirts. If you're overweight, you're not going to see all these benefits, and it's going to be disheartening. You're going to be going to the gym and you're like, oh, I don't feel no benefit. Now, how do you get down to 12% if you're overweight? Well, that's very easy again. You don't have to. I never counted calories, right? I never counted macros. I didn't go this, that. I knew roughly my diet was consisting the same thing, week on week, month on month, year on year. The main food source, or the main calorie source I'd get, is red meat and eggs. That's all I would eat. And then as much fruit as I wanted to eat. I could eat as much berries, like blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, cranberries, whatever you want. Bananas. I'd eat as much as that as I ever wanted, as long as I stuck to my main calorie source was from meat and eggs and fish and chicken, things like that. And I would never get overweight, and I would never get super skinny lean. I would just stay in that healthy, 10-12% body fat, because that's how humans are meant to eat. We've been designed through generations for thousands of years to eat like this. We haven't been designed to eat all these processed foods and, crap like that. Because in processed foods, you can eat like 4,000 calories in one sitting and it can feel like a normal meal. That's not natural. Never in nature would we consume that much calories in one sitting. And then you wonder why, you have skin issues, you feel lazy, you have acne, you're overweight, because you're not meant to eat like that. You're meant to eat, like I eat maximum twice a day, and I always keep myself in a slight state of hunger. I could always eat more. I never overindulge. I never get to the point where I'm that stuffed I can't get up. I'm like, oh, I'm in a food coma, because that's disgusting. Like, I feel like it's gluttony. You're becoming a glutton, and as we know, like without going to too deep in this, it's one of the 7 deadly sins, glutton and sloth. Now, to avoid this, don't overeat. Don't put yourself into that state of indulgence. Always be slightly hungry. Always go to bed just ever slightly hungry. And this will keep your body in that state of wanting to get more. It'll keep you eager. Because the moment you satisfy yourself, you'll sit back and you'll be comfortable. And you're like, I'm done. The day's done. I'm comfortable. I've achieved all I wanted to achieve. And you won't push to where you really need to push to. Now, this is going to tie into facial aesthetics. If you're overindulging, you're eating a lot of processed crap, your face is going to hold a lot of water. You're never really going to have a defined jawline, cheekbones. There's some, like those guys who have hollow cheeks. You can see like the definition. You're never going to get that if you're overeating all the time. And people mask this by growing out their beards because they can't control their diet. They can't control their urges. So they'll grow a beard to cover this fact. But there's nothing wrong with like having stubble, short beard. But if you are overweight and you're trying to cover the fact with a big beard, well, it's sort of cheating in a way. You should be able to shave your face and see a defined, sculpted jawline, and then that is a sign that you're in good, healthy shape. If your jawline is not visible, or if you got like 2 or 3 chins, you need to do something about this. It's over for you if you don't. To continue to grow, to continue to improve on facial aesthetics, there's a thing called mewing. It's where you push your tongue into the roof of your mouth and you hold it there for as long as you can, and you do sets of this, and you got to train your mind that this is the natural resting position of your tongue. Your tongue goes up. This opens your palate. It pushes your palate up. It pushes everything of your face up, and it will widen your jaw. That's another hack. Also, don't drink through straws, because as you drink through straws, or even if you smoke cigarettes, you suck on things, you use these muscles in your cheeks more, and it draws in air. And the more you use these muscles, the more fuller this part of your face is going to look. So if you're trying to get those hollowed out cheeks, that lean looking face, that defined jaw, that's not going to help that. You need to use your tongue as a muscle to move through your mouth, move the food through your mouth, and just chew with your jaw and swallow from your throat. Don't use your cheeks to swallow and force the food around in your mouth, because that's going to continue to grow the muscles here. It's not really going to look aesthetic, if you will. Another thing to do is creatine supplements. Creatine is a great supplement, but the downside to this is it makes you hold a lot of water, especially around the face. Again, if you're trying to have an aesthetic, like lean looking face, creatine is going to bloat you slightly, and then it's going to be hard for you to have a more defined lean jaw, lean facial features, those defined cheekbones and brow line. That's going to be all sort of blown out and washed out with all this extra water you're holding. So just say during winter, if you want to go on not even a bulk, I would call it, but if you wanted to go on a growth phase, yeah, you can use creatine then, but when summertime comes, I would cut the creatine out and continue to do everything else the same. Drink a lot of water, like at least 3 to 4 liters of water a day. This will stop the water retention. It will help things flush through your body, and it will drain your face out. Then you can use things like dandelion root tea, there's a peppermint tea, I think it is. You can do a concoction of these, and that'll help drain the fluid out of your face too, to give you a more angular, more aesthetic looking face. Because you don't want to be walking around with a moon face, like a literal baby face. As we see, like, teenagers grow up, they have a round baby face. If you're trying to be a man, you need a masculine looking angular face. And that's just the simple nature of it. It's not about attracting women, but what do you think a woman finds more attractive? A guy with an angular, more high testosterone defined face, like with prominent cheekbones and, bony features, or a guy with like a round, puffy teddy bear face? It's like, you're not trying to be cute here as a man. And another thing that helps with this dramatically is by reducing body fat too. So being in that range of 8 to 12%, you should have very defined facial features. Whether your brows, your cheekbones, your jaw, your everything here, your mandible, it all should be developed. And if you eat right too, this is going to help maintain your hair. Like, you cut out alcohol, you cut out like processed sugars, you stop the gut inflammation. This is going to keep your hair as long as possible. Like, I'm 30 years old and my hair is still good to go. I have a well-defined face. Like, all these things help. Even the food you eat, eating steak is really good because it's chewy food. You need to use your jaw and your molars to break the food down. If you're eating like soups and porridges and all this stuff that you don't even use your jaw to chew, that's going to underdevelop your face. So all these little tactics you can do to improve your face, your facial aesthetics, which is going to bring your overall aesthetics up, because it's not just physical, how your body looks, but it's how your face looks and how the whole package ties in together. And that's going to lead to you having more respect as a man, because people are going to look, this guy's lean. I can see his face is chiseled. He looks after himself. He's got high testosterone. Women are way more attracted to you. The things you say get taken way more seriously. You're not like a child. It's not like when a child tells you something who has a round face. It's like, whatever. You don't take it serious. When a guy who tells you something to do something, who has a real angular, like high testosterone looking face, you take it seriously. You're like, this guy's probably telling me something of value, or he's coming from a place of authority. I'm going to listen to what this guy's saying now. The thing that's going to tie all this in together is your recovery. So recovery, obviously, one of the things is sleep. I love to use melatonin. Melatonin helps me get a good night's sleep. It's a really powerful antioxidant, and I'll use like up to 10 milligrams a night. So I use this sporadically. I might use it for a month, then take a break, then use it for another month. But melatonin for me is a really good supplement to help with sleep. And the deeper you sleep, the more you're going to recover. So the harder you can train the next day and potentially build more muscle, run longer, burn more fat, be more disciplined in your mindset. Because if you're waking up with little to low, with low sleep, it's so much harder to be disciplined, because you're going to wake up with brain fog. You're going to get sugar cravings. You're going to want to binge watch Instagram and YouTube and your TV shows, and because you have less self-control. It's like you're almost on autopilot then, and you just go for the easiest source of dopamine. When you're very conscious of your decisions, when you have a good night's rested sleep, that's when you can be really in control of the choices you make throughout the day. And another thing to practice is wear mouth tape and nasal strips when you sleep. You don't have to do this forever, but just in the beginning stages, to train your brain to breathe through your nose when you sleep, because nasal breathing is going to improve your sleep quality too. It's going to properly oxygenate your blood. Breathing through your mouth is meant to eat. Your nose is for breathing, right? It's like when you're breathing through your mouth, it stimulates a stress response. It's like when you're stressed, when something happens, you gasp, you're like, that's when you breathe through your mouth. It spikes your cortisol up. When you're breathing through your nose, it's like you're calm, you're cool, you're collected, you're properly oxygenating yourself. That's one thing you'll notice about people who breathe through their nose too. They'll have way better facial structure. And going over water again, you want to drink at least 3 to 4 liters. Now, this is crucial. If you're dehydrated and you go out in public, or not even like you look at yourself in the mirror, your face it sags, it's like hangs low. You feel like your brain has fog. It's not properly hydrated. This is why drinking 3 to 4 liters is crucial, not just for looking good, not just for aesthetics and facial aesthetics, but for cognitive function. If you go on a day where you're dehydrated versus a day where you drink enough water, your brain functions completely differently. And when your brain functions better, you're going to make better decisions too. You can stick to your diet, you can stick to training hard, you can push through harder days, you can be more disciplined, and you can just generally be a better man. You can be in control of your life rather than being on autopilot again. So imagine like the constant negative chain of all these things: lack of sleep, lack of water, a crap diet, you're not chewing properly, you're not training hard enough. Where's that life going to lead you to versus the version of you who does all these things right, who sleeps well, who drinks enough water, who eats the right food, who trains hard, who's disciplined, who has all these traits that translates into all these other areas of their life? You're going to end up somewhere up here. versus the version of you who doesn't do all these things, who's lazy, who has a baby face, who has a puffy face, is going to end up down here. And the opportunities that are going to come to you in your life are going to be completely different as well. The version of you up here is going to be accepted into certain networks and social circles where you can make a lot more money, you can meet a lot more people, you can potentially meet your dream partner, versus the version of you down here who's never going to be accepted into those social circles because you don't look respectable. It's people take you for face value. Everything is superficial. Initially, for face value, someone looks like, this guy doesn't look after himself, his shirt's got stains on it, he's overweight, he's got a puffy face, he doesn't talk with confidence, he just doesn't look like, it doesn't look his age. These are the things that people look at when they take notice of you, especially your interactions out in public, out in business, in the workplace, social media, all these things. This is how people perceive you, and how people perceive you will give you your inherent value, or what people value what you say. In terms of nutrition as well, this is going to help with your recovery. So protein is super simple. It's always from animal sources like red meat, fish, chicken, eggs. I'd always aim for around 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. So I'm 80 kilos, I go for around 160 grams of protein a day. And then carbs, I don't even track, but I eat as much fruit and as much carbs as I want, and I don't get fat, I don't get overweight, I don't feel lazy, but I only eat 2 meals a day. This is the crucial part. You can't just binge eat carbs all day. I restrict myself to eating twice a day. So I'll skip breakfast every single day, and I'll break my fast around, midday, around 1 p.m., 12 to 1 p.m. I'll eat my first meal, primarily protein based. I'll have steak or eggs or lamb or chicken, something like that. And I'll finish it up with fruit, and then I'll go for a walk after I eat to help the digestive process, and then smash a lot of water. This will flush everything through the body, help with your digestion, help with water retention. And then my second meal in the day, I'll eat around 6, 7 p.m. And then my second meal is a bit more carb heavy. I'll have more like fruits. Might even have some bananas, strawberries, blueberries, and I'll chuck some maple syrup on top. You don't have to be scared of carbs and scared of sugar if it's from a natural source. And you're only eating twice a day. You restrict your window of eating to that small period. That's going to pay dividends, right? And you can eat big meals as much as you want, but twice a day, as much protein, like as much meat and eggs and things, and as much fruit as you want, twice a day, and you will be optimal. You will lose fat, you will gain muscle, you'll be in the healthy 8 to 12% body fat range. It is so simple. People like to overcomplicate it with, I got to eat 6 times a day, 40-gram portions of protein per every 6 meals. Like in the wild, when we were growing up as hunter-gatherers, we wouldn't meal prep and have 6 meals, each with 40 to 50 grams of protein portions, and eat them spaced perfectly even out through the day. We would always be in a slight state of hunger. We'd probably only eat, a couple times a day. Because if you, again, go to overindulgence, you're going to sit there lazy. You're going to be like, I don't need to do anything now. I'm satisfied. I don't need to work on anything. I have no reason because I've accomplished everything. I've hit all my baseline goals to maintain life. I've eaten food. Now I'm done. You need to be in that constant state of hunger, ever so slightly, to make you go for the next goal, to push you to the next level. And these are all the things about being a man. These are the trade-offs we have to make. You can't overindulge. You can't be a glutton. You can't be a sloth. Lust is incredibly, incredibly important to conquer. Lust has destroyed so many men. I'm not even going to get into this. This is another video in itself, another topic of how to control lust and be in control of your life. Because you control lust, you will control every other aspect of your life. Because that is probably the most powerful or hardest thing to control. Because as a man with high testosterone, your lust is through the roof. But if you can transmute this energy into creative energy, you can watch your life transform before your very eyes. Anyway, I hope this video found you well. I hope you liked it. You got some good information about it, around it. And we're going to keep going into more depth on how to improve yourself as a man, approaching your 30s and beyond, and how your life will become your desired reality.